Episode 5 of Dragon Ball Daima is finally upon us, so it's time to break it down. Hey everyone, it's SmugStick and we're in for a treat. This was a fantastic episode and probably my favorite one so far. The Demon Realm is really opening up for us. So we begin where we left off the last one, with the reveal of Panzy, the new demon girl that will be accompanying Goku and the others. She realizes that Goku has rounded ears, something really surprising, asking which demon realm he's from. Goku says that he's a Saiyan and Glorio lies, saying that they're from the second demon world. A popular theory as of late is if the Saiyans are from the demon realm. Of course, they themselves don't have pointed ears, but you know who does? The Ozaru transformation. Pointed ears, red eyes. Did the ancestors to the Saiyans originate from the demon realm? Maybe they were giant monkey people, leaving to universe 7 and 6, and eventually evolving to what we know them as. Anyways, Panzy continues to talk to them. Back at the village, the demon soldiers are all beat up. They didn't have time to confirm Goku's collar, but of course, he doesn't actually have one. Still, he's now a wanted man by the police. They describe him as the kid with spiky hair and a red pole. It's funny that the demon realm does have some regular food as Panzy gives Goku a rice ball. They introduce themselves to each other, and it really reminds me of the dynamic Goku and Teen Bulma had when Dragon Ball first began. They make fun of each other's names, and Goku also mentions that his other name is Kakarot. Of course, this is one of the only few times Goku refers to himself as such. Panzy asks Goku what magic he can do. As it turns out, every demon person can use at least one magic spell. Does this mean that Babidi's was mind control? Is Piccolo's the clothes beam? I think this really is just further proof that ki and magic work differently. So this affinity to magic, is it something that people are born with? For example, Panzy has telekinesis. Is this passed down from generation to generation? She gives Goku and the others a demonstration. Another clear nod to Star Wars and the Force. There's been so many parallels to Star Wars here, you can tell Toriyama was a big fan. Still, it's clear that she's not proficient in magic yet, but she says that she has other talents, like being gifted with machines. I'm sure that later down the line, Panzy's skills in both telekinesis and as a mechanic will come in handy. Since she's good with machines, it obviously makes her a little bit similar to Bulma, and as the episode goes on, her and Goku tease and joke around with each other before forming an alliance. Like I said, similar to Teen Bulma and Kid Goku. Panzy also asks Shin if he's a glint. She also knows that Goma's second-in-command, Degesu, is another glint. As far as she knew, there were very few glint left in the demon realm, since most of them left to the outside world. Panzy continues to ask more and more questions. Like, why are they willingly in the third demon realm? No one ever goes there without a reason, only for business. The running gag of Goku not pronouncing Glorio's name correctly continues, and they come across a sign marker, just like in the opening. I'm sure we'll see more of these as we go on. Panzy also confirms that Dabura was a pretty bad ruler, but Goma is much worse. She goes on to say that the third demon realm's average lifespan is only around 1,000 years old. She talks about it like that's pretty low. She's also 82 years old, much older than Goku. We come across the skeleton of a dragon, which reminded me of the Great Dragon from Star Wars, until finally we make it to the castle. It's not anything impressive, but apparently it's pretty cool for the third demon realm since it's so poor. Glorio describes the king as a mafia boss, more than anything else. Every shot we see of him prior to us actually meeting him makes him seem really menacing. It reminds me of how people talked about the Ox King in the original Dragon Ball, before we actually met him and he was really just a goofball. We then cut for the first time in forever to see what Dende is up to. Turns out he's actually being taken care of by a nanny. Goma reveals that his plan is to have Dende create a new set of Dragon Balls for him, and he probably could do that within like a year, given how Namekians age. Funny enough, Dende was also kidnapped in Dragon Ball Heroes, in order to create Demon Realm Dragon Balls, though in that story he was brainwashed to do that. We then arrive at Kadan Castle, where it is revealed that Panzy is the princess, daughter of the king of the third demon world. And I don't want to say I called it, but I definitely called it. So we have Han Solo and Glorio, Princess Leia and Panzy. Does that make Goku Luke Skywalker and Shin Obi-Wan? Or is Shin more like a Chewbacca? All joking aside, the castle actually seems pretty nice. Everyone seems to be living peacefully. I also noticed that King Kadan himself is wearing a collar, so even the ruler of this world isn't exempt from this tracking device. Though Panzy is wearing a scarf, so we don't know if she has one or not. Maybe she likes to hide it, or perhaps she took her off, which is why she wears a scarf. I think that she probably doesn't have one. After all, the demons in the village said that they could lock on to the callers, track them, and find out who those people are. I can't imagine that Panzy went through the trouble of disguising herself only to still have that collar on. I also want to point out the main guard woman of the castle. She seems to be like the second in command, in charge of all the soldiers. I really like her design. I think she looks pretty cool. The symbol Panzy's wearing on her chest is the one of the castle. It seems to be a flower, which is appropriate, since almost every demon we've met so far has a name based on a flower. The king also has a tattoo of it on his arm. The king reveals that Glorio promised him to find people who could defeat Majin Buu. And here's where we find out that the king didn't go to Glorio, but rather Glorio went to him for this mission, something which contradicts what Glorio said. Shin also notices this, and warns Goku about it later on. The king was also unaware that they were turned into kids. I mean, we know that Glorio knows because he was in Goma's castle when they discussed the plan, but it's more clear than ever now that Glorio really is hiding something. There's an empty throne next to the king, but no queen, so I imagine that she's dead. I wonder if it was Goma or Dabura that did this. King Kadan says that he wants to be the supreme demon king and bring peace to the world, saying that Goma is nothing more than a villain. According to Panzy, her father is more like Robin Hood, stealing from the rich and killing evil guys. I don't think this is gonna last. Goma will probably become aware of him and send a hitman to kill him. Place your bets, how many episodes do you think he's gonna last? I give him 4 maximum. The king offers his daughter's hand in marriage to Goku, but Goku says that he already has a wife and 2 kids. So they all really thought that he was just a child. Shin says that their plan is to rescue Dende and get the Dragon Balls from the demon realm. King Kadan can't believe that they're going to face the Tamagami. This is a little weird because he knows they defeated Majin Buu. So are the Tamagami really that formidable? Though he says they could have a chance to beat them, so maybe they're comparable. Goku agrees to show off his power against the king's best soldiers, and we get the best action scene in the show so far. I feel like I'm saying that every episode, but they really just step it up a notch every single one. We get some really nice cuts. I especially love Goku's hair flying in the wind, but the real treat is seeing Super Saiyan Daima Goku for the first time. It's only for a split second, as he pushes the demons away with it. But note how he keeps the Super Saiyan aura around himself once he returns to base. This is very similar to a filler episode in Dragon Ball Z, where him and Pikkon go to hell. Originally, it was supposed to be Super Saiyan Goku fighting, but the team behind the scenes decided to keep it a secret from Pikkon until the final Otherworld match. This little change would go on to become a quasi form. In GT, Goku also uses it against Cell and Frieza, and in Dragon Ball Super Broly, Vegeta uses it early on in the fight. I don't personally consider it an actual state, but Dragon Ball Heroes kinda does, as they have a card specifically for it named Super Saiyan Power. Also, an interesting curiosity. Speaking of GT, the first time Goku went Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball GT was also on episode 5. So we're getting kind of a mirror here. Everyone is impressed by Goku's power, and the king gives them a new ship. It's still just a hunk of junk, but it has more space than what they had before. Looks like the pin number is attached to the ship, so the king had to modify it so the team could actually use Warp Sama. This means that it's going to be difficult for Vegeta and the others to come through. So the king agrees to send out one of his men, Hibis, a little demon weirdo who's doing ballet. His name comes from the hibiscus plant. He's going to help out the second team come across. He has a device that looks very similar to the Dragon Radar. We actually see it in the ending credits. But since everyone knows where the Tamagami are, I guess they don't need one. Instead, it seems to be some kind of radar for the universe. He uses it to find Kami's temple on Earth. It's pretty far away, but he will do it. Goku uses his fingers to count how many people there are on the second team, and the animation changes to a scene where the king orders his men to steal a plane from gang members. It really took me by surprise since Dragon Ball doesn't usually do these kinds of gags. It feels more modern anime. I also love how Goku and the others look. Panzy wants to come as well, as she will come in handy as a mechanic, and says that she has some tricks up her sleeve. I really love her and Goku's dynamic so far. So they take off and the ship instantly crashes, because Panzy packed too much. That's the end of the episode, but the next episode preview shows us Shin disgusted at canned food, Glorio versus Goku, which I wonder if this is a real fight or they're just training. Maybe we're finally gonna find out what Glorio's deal is. And finally, a shot of the Minotaur from the opening. My guess is they're likely going to go through the maze and find him. It looks like our team is protecting some kind of creature, though Panzy doesn't appear in the previews at all. The next episode will be named lightning. Episode 5 rose a lot more questions. Now that we know every demon has at least one magic spell, I wonder what Glorio's is. Given that the next episode's name is Lightning, I wonder if his is that. But what about Shin and the Namekians? Even King Kadan? What could be their deal? It's getting more and more exciting with each episode, especially now that Super Saiyan Goku is in the mix. It may only have been for a split second, but I loved every millisecond of it. I think it'd still be a little bit of a while before we see Vegeta and the others though. Maybe 2 or 3 episodes. I'm more interested in knowing what the villains are up to, especially Dr. Arinsu. She's the one we've seen the least and the most mysterious one. I am really enjoying every one of the new characters though. I think they all have great dynamics, though I hope Glorio opens up a little bit more. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode, and tune in next week for the breakdown of episode 6. And if you're looking for more Dragon Ball content, why not check out my second collection of the weirdest Dragon Ball what ifs of all time.